All right, Shalom. I want to start off by giving all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakak Kadash. I want to say double honor to our apostles who are elders who rule well. Blessings and salutations to you brothers out there teaching and enduring truth and sincerity. This is Rob Moth from the Nebraska camp.
Here with Yatazakba.
And I wanted to go over a lesson in particular. I'm going over the synagogue of Satan and off the reference of that. And we'll go to the precept in itself and read that in Revelations 2:9. It says, I know thy works and tribulation and poverty, but thou art rich. And that's speaking about us, Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. We are economically poor, but we are rich in spirit. We're rich with this knowledge. We're rich via through the Holy Spirit, all right, which is the knowledge, from the ministering angels, pretty much getting the divine order from Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai on a regular, okay? So, because a lot of these elite, they have everything but their health, and they're trying to make decisions, but they can't control everybody, so it's a difficult thing. But continuing on, it says, and I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan. All right, and the blasphemy of them that say they're Jews or are not, which are the synagogue of Satan, is talking about those small hats that are in our land. All right, not only they actually blaspheme because they don't they speak out against the Holy Spirit, which is Yahweh Shai. They spoke out against him. That when you go into the Talmud, it tells you that the Lord is burning excrement, feces. It tells you that the Virgin Mary, was an adulterous woman. It tells you things like that, and that's blatantly speaking out against Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. But vocab don't have anything to say about that. We're the top of the list of people that need to get addressed. Meanwhile, these guys are committing atrocities that nobody could speak on. All right, creating wars, creating all. They are the synagogue of Satan, because once you go into that word synagogue, all right, it goes into It goes into synagogue means to gather, and the word Satan goes back to adversary. All right, so the adversaries, where the adversaries are gathered. All right, and the ways of those small hats are in complete adversity to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. All right, and before we get into that, we're just gonna get into some an example of proving that they not only are the synagogue of Satan through their laws, but that they are actually connected to Satanism, okay, and that they have a deep root to that. And I let the brother go in on that, because I was watching this one video, and you see a lot of stuff on social media nowadays, and you gotta double check it, triple check it, to see if it's true, and it has some merit to it, man. All right, it has some merit to it. So we'll bring the information out, and then we'll bring some other information out. Abaratazah. Hey, shalom. I'm about to say shalom, but we ain't about to go nowhere. But you go ahead.
Well, that connection that the brother is speaking about is through someone named Anton LaVey, which he was a Satanist. He was the founder of the Church of Satan. He has a whole sect of Satanism. He wrote a Satanist Bible and some more. Well, you had Anton LaVey, and he sat down with a prominent figure amongst them small hats, which his name was Asaph Dayan. I'll just pull something up real fast on him just to give a quick synopsis. Which he was an Israeli film director, actor, screenwriter, and producer. Now, there was basically, you could say like an interview that was had between the two of them that was written about in a biography about Anton LaVey. And in this book, Anton LaVey was saying when he sat down with him that he showed Asaph Dion his Satanist Bible, and he was going into different tenets, different laws that was believed amongst Satanism. And as he was reading these different things off, Asaph Dion is sitting there and he's agreeing with what Anton LaVey is saying. He's saying that within modern Israel, they fulfill these different things that Anton LaVey pushes within Satanism, these different laws. Is it okay if I go into a couple of them, or you bring up examples? Or?
Yeah, you could, but sure.
Just like, for example, there's a law which they believe in something called the law of the jungle, where within the scriptures how it says, if someone smites you on one cheek, turn the other. Within the Satanist Bible, they say if someone smites you on one cheek, then smash them on the other, basically to come down with force, no mercy. And Asaph Dion believed that Israel fulfilled that modern day Israel because of how they, with their different policies, their retaliation that they bring on these different nations. For example, we seen that with the October 7th situation a couple years ago, where you had Hamas and they did the attack that they did. And now for these past couple years, we've seen the retaliation that these small hats have brought upon the Palestinians, and it's a completely...
And it just goes back to the Talmud, you know what I'm saying? And that's why when we was referencing, or the brother was looking up those things, it just, it's Talmud, because if there's policies, then where's the policies coming from? Okay. All right? So to say that it's a policy that's connective to the whole nation of Israel as a culture, that directly points to the Talmud, all right? Because the Talmud is a wicked device that Edom created and added it to our culture. Because again, as the scriptures say, what hast thou done to declare my statutes? Let's get that real quick, Baba Kashar. Because that's what they did. And then you dig, when Edom come get his hands on it, he comes up with the Talmud, pretty much saying it's an oration written down amongst the priests, because we're an orative people, and try to play off that. But if you're an orative people, you should have kept it orative. That ain't something that Jake was doing. Jake wasn't doing that. Jake could tell stories. Jake was telling the stories of Samson via oration. Jake was talking about the laws via oration, and we had Moses. We didn't have to have no remix and of no heathenistic intervention, But that's what the Talmud is in its essence,
This is Psalm chapter 50, verse 16, which says, "But unto the wicked the Most High said, What hast thou to do to declare my statutes, or that thou shouldest take my covenant in thy mouth?"
Yep. So, because at the end of the day, Esau gonna do wickedness, and they do wickedness, like the brothers referencing with Gaza. You got what's going on in Mexico right now, and you got plenty of things. It's like Asaph Dion, he was a filmmaker, okay. And there's a term called ubiquitous assimilation. I was watching this one little thing, and it was talking about something called ubiquitous assimilation, meaning that you absorb everything around you. You know what I'm saying? And Esau knows that, and he knows that if he puts his television all in your face, he knows that if he puts all these, certain visuals into your eyes, and things into your ears, that they can cause you to act a certain way, all right? And one of the precepts that I was thinking about, what I brought out yesterday, and Sirach, was it 17 and 12, or 12 and 17? It says when adversity falleth upon him, you'll find him there first.
Okay, I got that
Okay. You go ahead, brother.
It's Sirach chapter 12. Is it okay if I start at verse 16?
Nah, we'll get 17. 16 is okay.
Okay, we go to 17. It says, if adversity come upon thee, thou shalt find him there first. And though he pretend to help thee, yet shall he undermine thee.
Yeah, so you going to see he's there. So, slave trade, okay, he's there. All right, he's funding it, slave ships. Even when you go real deep into it, they was doing a whole lot more, because they had their hands around the Vatican, okay? Once the Vatican took a couple loans out, they had the Vatican by the balls, okay? And that's how they got a hold of a lot of countries through their usury, you know what I'm saying? But at their way in its core, not only just the stealing, but their core way when they establish everything is adverse to Yahweh Shem Yahushai. All right, which when you talk about Adolf Hitler, everybody they painted him as this demon, which Edomites are Edomites, but they Joseph Stalin was worse. You know what I'm saying? There's people that was tremendously worse than Gaddafi and Saddam Hussein, the shit that they do. That all that gun running, you don't know how many people done died behind that, people done died behind all kind of things, man. But Esau has a narrative that he wants to push. And the main people that's behind the media and behind controlling the narrative is going to tell you who the bad guys are, okay? And that's just like there was a woman on the Israeli council. She said out of her mouth that the main threat to the Israelis is the American Negro, pretty much, which is prophetic. All right, because Judah shall rise up as an old lion, man. You know what I'm saying? And the Lord gonna let Judah be the head, and as the fishes turn to hunters, the Lord's gonna rise up the Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans. So she prophesied, as the scriptures say, many shall prophesy dreams, man. And she got up there and said that statement. Okay. Now the thing about it is, we was talking about the reference of the Talmud, so I looked up things that were said, crazy things that were said in the Talmud. And this is a hard look up, okay? Because they control the internet, all right? And it sounds like Jake making up stuff, but no, these people control countries, man, all right? But it says in the Sanhedrin 59, it says murdering Goyim is like killing a wild animal, okay? Aboda Zara 26b says even the best of the Gentiles should be killed. Okay. Sanhedrin 59, a Goy Gentile who pries into the law is guilty of death. Okay. There's even a law that says that if somebody asks you about it, you lie. You specifically lie, and if you don't lie, then you'll be put to death. That's how specific they're telling you to lie about it. Matter of fact, I'll just read it real quick. I'm gonna just read them because I'm gonna run into it. It says, for to communicate anything to a goy, and the goy is talking about the goyim, the cattle. They're talking about people. If you're not, and how they like to come against us as Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, and we know we're Israelites, and they want to condemn us for saying we have a hate group and a speech and this and that. But these people literally have a book telling you, "Fuck you." You know what I'm saying? In your face. Spiritually, I'm saying that there's a divine order to treat you, to lie to you, to cheat you, and to do all kind of wickedness. Now, there is a law based off of usury okay, that you can use usury against a heathen. But what the heathen did, Esau, is that he made a law and a culture out of it. It wasn't supposed to be like that. It was just like, all right, man, if you want it that bad, then just give it to me for this, or but they made a practice out of it where they'll go into your country, and because you're goyim, I can cheat you out every dollar. I can manipulate things, like a lot of you, okay? And they purposefully go to other countries so they can do that. It's like the Lord told us we could lend upon usury to heathen. That's like me, okay, I can't lend upon usury to my own people, so I'm going to move to a land so I can really do it and set up a banking system, an essential banking system, okay? There's a lot of people that's connected to those small hats. The Rockefellers are connected to the small hats, okay? A lot of wars going on in Vietnam, the opioid, China, okay? A lot of that's connected, money, real estate, slavery, like we mentioned earlier, funding the slave ships, and there's a connection that the Vatican was funding funding slavery. All right, but I want to read a couple more, and then we'll get back to what you got, brother. It says, if a Jew be called upon to explain the part that the rabbinic of the rabbinic books, what it says, he ought to give only a false explanation. Whoever will violate this order shall be put to death. You see, it says it in Hamath 11b, sexual intercourse with a little girl is permitted if she is 3 years of age. Okay, Shabbath, Hag 6d, Jews may swear falsely by use of subterfuge wording. I don't know what that means.
Let me see real fast.
But it says, Hikoth Akum, do not save Goyim in danger of death.
Hey, that word it says subterfuge is deceit used in order to achieve one's goal.
Yeah, kind. So they're permitted to not be honest.
Mm-hmm.
And Esau want to hop up and say, oh, black people ain't this, niggas ain't that, niggas ain't this. There's a rule book. With what he's saying is speculation, but there's a rule book, and nobody is not only nobody say anything, but you're funding these people millions and millions of dollars. Like you're funding their country, but ultimately they ain't funding. It's just redirecting money. It's just money laundering, because they own the money. They're funding. They're giving that money that they're getting loaned to that country. So it's just money laundering, in essence, to place the blame and the responsibility on a certain people or a certain demographic, to have them socially obligated and economically obligated to provide them with resources. All right? I got this central bank. You're borrowing money to create your goods. Your goods is like what Donald Trump says. You give me, you ask me stuff I don't even know the name of it. All kind of stuff, and they work. Got all kind of Floyd Mayweather running over there. Okay. Making leagues. Anytime you speak out against them, you got to go to a small hat museum. Probably get traumatized, the most traumatized, and redirected, man. Okay.
For you.
Just like what's your boy, man? Kanye West, sitting in front of that satanic priest, man, and telling him, I'm bipolar. No, bipolar means you may have a switch in personality, but not a switch in information. Nigga.
Got that nigga apologizing on camera in front of everybody.
Yeah, talk about I'm bipolar. That has nothing to do with a core belief system. You're not gonna pop up and turn into an activist, and then the next day, and your activism is adverse. I see if you are a extreme leftist, right? And you may be passive, and then your bipolar kick in, then you become aggressive.
Like,
That's supposed to happen because you're still the same person. I'm still extreme left. I'm normally just a chill guy, but then my bipolarism kicks in. I'm aggressive. Now I'm running in the streets with a transgender halter top, spitting and yelling at right wingers. But the other day you're walking around and acting like that's. But you still, it ain't like you just got a re-download of information to say, you know what, hell Hitler, and then just, like, no, bro.
Right.
Like, nah, man. That man meant what he said. That's what I'm alluding to. Okay, but they made his ass sit down, and they'll do you that because that shit, hey, it's fire. They make you publicly say you sorry, man, because that makes you non-credible, super non-credible. It make you say what these guys are demons, they're liars, they're thieves, they're this, they're that, and then you on a show next day, kneel down before a rabbi. I am bipolar. I am so sorry. It's that. I don't know me. Yeah, man. Okay. The countless amount of people that died, the oil industry. Okay. Just running refineries. Rockefeller running refineries. Funding wars. Okay. And they don't care who dies. It tells you that they're going. So this is all a game to them for monopoly to take over everything,
I have a couple precepts for you.
Yeah, Bible shot.
This is John chapter 8 verse 44, which says, "Ye are of your father the devil, and the lust of your father ye will do. He was a murderer from the beginning, and abode not in the truth, because there is no truth in him. When he speaketh a lie, he speaketh of his own, for he is a liar and the father of it."
Yeah, so and that's Esau, all right, and the word devil goes back to deceiver, okay, and as we read, there's a couple statements, and it's the amount of things and stuff they have their hands in is ridiculous, man. All right, Ukraine, what's going on in Ukraine? They have their hands in that, because really those small hats, those Ukrainians are small hats, in essence, man. All right. And they're that's a place of resource as well because of all the grain that comes from there. It's always been like that. All right, I believe the Polish or the Slavic, whoever that was, they was going back and forth with Ukraine a long time before then, man. But that was all often a heavily small hat populated area via through the Khazarian Empire, man. Okay.
And I got Psalms 58:2. It says, "Yea, in heart ye work wickedness, ye weigh the violence of your hands in the earth. The wicked are estranged from the womb. They go astray as soon as they be born, speaking lies."
Yep. Yeah. And they have. Not only is that they came up with the black and white, They you can't say they came up with it. Probably be like a specific guy, but they funded it. Just like they funded the civil rights movement, okay? They funded the BLM. They'll fund Planned Parenthood. They'll fund the war, okay? They funded Napoleon. They're funding, all these bombs being dropped on everybody, man.
Yep.
Okay, because why do I say that? Because what was that, Reinhardt or Blackheart? These private BlackRock.
Yeah, BlackRock. Yeah.
These private military companies. What I mean by private is that this is a guy a regular guy that created a company that make guns and tanks and Boeing jets. We ain't talking about a guy that's creating rifles. We're talking about, he's making the 757s, the B-2 bombers. He has the technology to make these drones and all that. And this guy is private contract. That means he can sell his business to Germans. He can sell it to Americans. He can sell it to whoever he wants. Okay? And these private contractors are involved with the central bank. Can you find that real quick? Where it says, I believe it's BlackRock got bailed out by a central bank. You know what I'm saying? But what shows their involvement, it ain't like they needed the help. They just wanted the contract to ensure that they're gonna keep revenue flowing into their company. It wasn't like that the guns weren't selling. They're selling. They just needed a reason to create an American tax-backed revenue that should flow into a private company, so they'll take a loan out, you know what I'm saying, and gain that money off the interest. Okay.
It's lucky. It says, this shit wicked. It says BlackRock was not bailed out in 2008. Instead, the U.S. government and the Federal Reserve hired BlackRock to help manage the crisis by liquidating toxic assets from failing institutions like Bear Stearns and AIG. So they basically saying they had a crisis and they hired them, but it wasn't a bailout. We didn't bail them out, but we bailed them out.
Yeah. They pretty much they didn't need any help. They just created a contract to give them hella money. It's just money laundering. Bailouts ain't nothing but money laundering. You know what I'm saying? After you done did your scheme of draining the people, and then the people don't have nothing left, you use a bailout to say, instead of bailing the people out, oh man, if this bank fall, then this bank is where everybody put their money at. And so it's better to bail out the bank than to bail out the people. You know what I'm saying? And instead of just funding and sending a bailout to wherever that money was having holes in, the liquidated and all that, all this is gone, then just pay all that off and clean that up. No, why are you giving the country or a company all that money? All right? Because that's an excuse. Okay? They do it all the time, man, with these businesses. And guess who pay for it? The working class. And the goyim. That's who pay for it, man. These bailouts is hidden hyperinflation, man. All right, and Jake start filling on the back end, and they try to make a catastrophe the reason. The 2020, the trucks, the boats are going down, and we got to hike the prices up. No, it's some bailouts, man. It's the repercussions of it. You just try to play it off like ain't nothing happening. Okay. Yep, you go ahead, brother.
Okay, you wanted more on what I was just reading, or?
Nah, I was cool unless you had something more you want to bring out to it.
Okay, well, I had this precept, 2 Thessalonians 2:8, which says, "And then shall that wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. It's even him whose coming is after the working of Satan with all power and signs and lying wonders."
Yeah, so you got the signs that they do from the TVs, okay? I talk to Jake, and Jake be like, we talking about concepts and science, and he'll be like, yeah, man, I be on that National Geographic, man, start seeing that shit. I'll be all like, bro, it's on TV, bro. You gotta scrutinize everything you do. I don't give a damn if you put a $5 million CGI film up for you. Mm-hmm. You need to scrutinize everything Esau does, man, because he's a liar and the father of it. You know what I'm saying? As we read earlier, man. He's the synagogue of Satan. Mm-hmm. He's literally where Satanism started, okay? Because both of those guys, from Anton LaVey to Asa and Diet, both of them go back to Amalek, man. Mm-hmm. Both of them go back to being small hats. And who else would do something like that? All this transhumanism goes back to small hat activity, man.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? These people are the center of being adverse to Yahweh Shem Yahushai and his ways. Okay?
Because it literally calls them the wicked. Malachi 1:4 says Esau is the border of wickedness. And in this precept that was just read in 2 Thessalonians, it says that they come after the working of Satan with all this wickedness that they do. That goes back to the whole Satanist Bible thing. Asaph Dayan said that for a reason, that modern Israel embodies these different things. In that Satanist Bible, it pushes hedonism and lack of self-control and just pleasure and like that Epicurean philosophy. And we look at modern Israel today with their culture in Tel Aviv, Pink City. They got this booming nightlife with all type of wickedness going on when they supposed to be the children of the Most High. Yet you got one of the biggest LGBTQ populations in the world.
Yeah, the largest pedophile, registered sex offender population. They have the I ain't gonna say the largest, but I wouldn't be exaggerating.
Mm-hmm. And that's the thing is them Israelis, they live in a live in the moment attitude. You can look it up that there's a you would think if they saying that they're the children of the Most High, they're saying that they're fulfilling the Israelites in the Bible, that they would be following after the laws and doing these different things. When you look it up, a lot of their population, is against following the laws. They have differences of opinions on which laws you need to follow, and some people just don't even worry about it in the first place. They just living, they just doing their thing, and that land over there is an epicenter of wickedness, but that shows that they aren't the true people. As the scriptures say, a bastard shall dwell in Ashdod. That bastard is speaking about Esau. Out of Jacob and Esau, even though they was brothers, Esau.
Yeah, Salak here cut out. But you go ahead, brother. Read that again, Baba Shah.
This is Isaiah chapter 26, verse 10. Let favor be shown to the wicked, yet will he not learn righteousness. In the land of uprightness will he deal unjustly, and will not behold the majesty of the Lord.
Yep, and that's Esau all the way, and especially the small hats, because they're inciting a lot of behavior, man. And these people don't even consider themselves Edomites, which they are. Okay.
They try to call them the Palestinians Edomites.
All right. He's wild. He's just liars, dog. It just would be lying. From Herod to the popes to how they try to slander King James. Mm-hmm. You know it had to have been a small hat trying to do that. Just constantly putting out rumors because he's in a prestigious position. He ain't got nothing back in it. All right. So yeah, man. That's all we wanted to bring out. With that being said, the Wadi Yahweh Bashem Yahushai for these words. Call Allah Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. And want to give all praises to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai Bashem Rekakadash. Want to say that by honor to our apostles who are elders who rule well. Blessings and salutations to you brothers out there teaching and enduring truth and sincerity. Shalom.
Shalom.
All right, shalom.